Previously, on the secrets of Neros, 4 intrepid adventurers arrived in the town of Kron and joined a guild known as the Kings of the Craft. The party has faced several challenges thus far, but have proved their mettle and advanced from E to D rank, though their trials have only just begun. During a recent outing, the party bore witness to a perturbing spectacle that was fraught with torture and unsettling ideas as a tiefling and warlock were publicly executed by the enigmatic cult of Eldeth. The party, unable to conceal their indignation and disgust, drew unwanted attention from the crowd. In response, Simeon attempted to placate the jeering masses by claiming he was an advocate for the innocent, just as the executioner had previously proclaimed. Though Simeon succeeded in diffusing the conflict, his words may have unforeseen ramifications, as he piqued the curiosity of the executioner, which has already impacted the guild. Finally, following a draining encounter at the spire, the party took a moment to rest the guild, only to soon realise that a rampant mob had gathered outside. Upon taking a closer look, the party discovered that the group was attacking a warlock and imp. Exasperated at the situation, Nargrak stepped forward and provided a spirited defence. However, several hydras sprouted from the crowd, which caused the guild to emerge to defend themselves from the newly spawned creatures, as the warlock fled the scene with no further action from the mob. From here, a fierce battle ensued in which the party engaged a hydra, but an overconfident Finion threw himself into the fight and endured grievous injuries before Nargrax intervened to provide much needed support. After this attack, the party visited and followed Velen, the Slayer of the Four Lanes, to an Eldeth service in which he appears to be a prominent speaker. And thus, our story continues, as we learn the secrets of Neros. Buggy Boy has to read real fast, like, hello everyone. Just think how much we have to cram into that, a minute and 30 seconds after the part of the intro that I leave in every time. I probably actually need to update the first part of that intro because I feel that we're going into major plot territory again tonight. So, take it away, Doomer. This is our first session in a couple of weeks. We did take a break last week, and I think it will be a shorter session today, but hopefully this one will be quite significant.
It'll be fun.
For you, perhaps. I feel not so much for us.
Cough, 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 cough.
I mean, fun's a matter of perspective, really, I guess.
We're all going to die.
That's fun
You're
to
all
do.
going to die down here.
Ah. You're all going to die down here.
Well, I mean, in here, I suppose, more like. I mean, we're actually above.
That's reference.
Okay, I don't understand the reference. I'm not a man of culture like yourselves.
No, don't want to do that. You're right. Okay, we'll do this one. Okie dokie. So, in the last session, you all snuck inside the church and made your way upstairs after Finion had pointed out a little place where you could go and get a vantage point. You all went in completely unnoticed. It's generally quite dimly lit up where you are, but you look out across a crowd at Velen down here, who is beginning a service. Imagine all these benches are full of people. I cannot be bothered resizing.
You couldn't be bothered copying that many tokens.
No, I could not.
I'd just have them jump up and down in unison as you get to it.
What are the people's names?
Shut up.
So to Bert, Ernie, Jeffrey, Timothy, Zahn, and Vaughn.
27 million times.
Yeah.
Alright. As you look across the crowd, Velen begins to speak, addressing it. We are here today to welcome a new member of our congregation. We welcome you, he gestures up with a hand to someone at the front of the crowd. Barian. A figure stands up from the crowd and walks over to stand by Velen, and then lowers his hood. Nagrax, you do recognize this person. You've talked to him once before.
Do I remember when?
Roll intelligence.
Is it the kid that kicked you in the shin at the very start? Is he the secret bad guy?
Bastard, I knew it was him.
Even with a
Apparently-
9, I'm going to say you've passed it. It's the shopkeep that you spoke to briefly outside the spire who offered to put a chain onto your mace.
So the blacksmith.
Yes. Well, he wasn't a blacksmith, he was more of a merchant selling arms.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember exactly where I had this conversation. But
It
yeah.
was literally outside the spire's steps, just following the initial execution scene.
Yeah.
You were asking him any ways to improve your weapon, and that's what he offered.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I'd probably have to go back to see exactly when, but yeah, I'll take your word for it. Nigrax
Okay.
won't say anything for now. I think we just want to be as inconspicuous as possible.
Velen nods to him, and then looks back amongst the crowd. Seal the doors.
Oh yeah.
With that, from both sides of the front aisle, people stand up and work their way down church and seal the main doors.
With hearing that, can I move back to the door on the balcony we're on?
You can, yes, if you like.
I just
Are
want
you
to.
going to be looking down the stairs?
Is there an actual door or is it a doorway?
There's going to be a door there as well.
I'll. I don't have anything to wedge it closed. I just want to stand by the door. In
Okay,
case I
then.
hear anyone
I
coming up.
suppose really you could just close the actual door.
Oh yeah, I mean I'll close the door and stand by it. So if I hear
Yeah.
anyone coming.
Okay.
Oh, you just noticed I forgot to give you control of your characters.
Yeah,
Fixing that now.
it's that kind of service we don't even have control over ourselves. The power of Jesus is flowing through us right now. Or whatever.
Elder.
Yeah.
Okay, given where
that.
you're standing, you do hear the footsteps come. They sound like they're towards the bottom door, but then they walk past quickly. There's no sign of them coming up towards you.
It's probably just the main doors are sealing then, probably.
Everyone, please join me in prayer. You hear the murmurings of Velen and the various cultists as they say a prayer basically for guidance towards achieving peace. I didn't write a complete prayer because it would have gone on for way too long. That gives you the gist of what it was.
It's basically a prayer to the goddess of peace, I assume.
Correct.
Actually, Doom, during this prayer, is that goddess of joy mentioned?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because they kind of seem to be related deities.
As the prayer comes to an end, Velen speaks. As you all here have done so, Varian will prove his fealty to us. He will join us in our quest for peace upon this world. Some of the crowd a bit awkwardly claps. You see nods of heads. They all seem to be, what's the word for it? Satisfied of another person joining them. But they all seem unruly, unorganized.
It's kind of like they're not like devout cultists, they're kind of just more like people jumping on a bandwagon.
Effectively.
Bugs bandwagon.
Haha, channel bug.
Velen gestures to a side door. This one over here. And two robe figures go through it. Between them, you see them dragging along a fairly small person with a potato sack over them. It covers their body all the way down to their ankles.
I wonder where this is going.
Oh my god, the person's a potato.
We all made our mark. We all show our commitment to attaining true peace. Now, Barion, it is your turn. With that, the two cultists that moved the little figure in pull off the sack. A young tiefling stirs out of the crowd. She is a child no older than 6. Her skin a light red hue, the horns barely bumps on her head. She She has a bloody lip, her clothes are dirty, she looks malnourished and has a haunted look in her eyes. This poor young thing has been birthed into a world cursed. She is tainted by demons' foul influence on this world. It is such a horrific twist of fate. I know some of you are uncomfy with the idea of what we must do, also must be done to young, innocent children. If we don't apply our works to all, we will never achieve our goals of true peace. We ask a lot of you here, Barian. Will you pledge yourself to our cause? Barian will look down at the child. You'll see him frown, as if he's questioning himself briefly. But he'll close his eyes, take a breath, and then looks to Velen. He then holds out his hand. Velen nods. We commit this poor child to your care, Elder. Please watch over this poor innocent as she passes from this plane. Velen draws a knife and places it into Barian's hand.
When he draws the knife, do I recognize it to be the same sort of ceremonial knife that we found at the Fallout estate? Or can I not tell from here?
Let you roll perception.
Okay.
You can't tell.
Okay, fair enough. Now Greg's tried.
Barian walks in front of the young child, the knife at his side. She tries to squirm, but hands are firmly holding her in place from behind. He raises the knife, and everything stops. Flint, only you are aware of this right now, but everything has stopped around you. You try to move slightly, but your body doesn't respond at all.
So I'm not in the speed force.
Your eyes are the only thing that you can move as you stir around, but otherwise you're completely locked in place.
Can I tell if it's
You
a
hear-
sort of spell doing this?
You can roll your Arcana if you wish. Second. Okay. You have no idea.
Okay.
You hear footsteps behind you. Slow. They tread on the floor, but it sounds more like they're treading on carpets. And they stop behind you. Flinty, Flinty, Flinty boy. What have you gotten into here? You feel a heat behind you, and a presence looming over you. Why don't you save her? Do you not remember how?
No.
Have you forgotten our pact?
Pact. What pact had
Feel
not?
a hand grip onto your shoulder. The touch burns. You feel the heat rise more as the figure behind you leans in. You did an awful lot that day. You have forgotten, haven't you? I'm surprised you didn't kill yourself with what you did.
What?
Let me help you remember. You feel a sharp pain in your head, directly from behind you, as if a finger was poking into you. You remember back to the last day you were with your family. It had been a boring day, not much had happened. You were on your way home from working in the library. You passed several people you passed frequently in the streets. You made your way to your home. When you entered, you heard commotion outside, but you paid it no heed. You didn't really think, well, it didn't really bother you. It was none of your business. You weren't a guard. You closed the door and went to see your wife. She was with your son in your study. You walk over to them, greet them. They smile. You smile back. They ask how your day had been. You don't really say much about it. You've been quiet. Commotion outside has grown louder and louder. Your wife keeps looking, and eventually you decide to go out and see what it is. When you poke your head outside, people are running everywhere. There are creatures crawling all over the bodies of people you had seen just moments ago. On the roof, there are imps flying around. There are ghouls breaking into the house beside you. You see them in panic and raise your hand, and a firebolt leaps out. It explodes, killing both of the imps that were trying to get inside the house. Doing this one action, you feel tired. That simple move took a lot out of you. You shut the door, and before you can go any further inside, you hear a crash. You run into the study where your family was, and you see another figure stood with them. It's 8 feet tall, humanoid, grey skin. It has to bend over without scraping the roof. It has one elongated horn on its forehead. It's holding your wife. You try to act and cast another spell. The instant you raise your hand, you are thrown against the wall. You try to draw on the power inside you that you know you have, but you can't. It's like pressing up against a window with someone else on the other side raising their hand. You can see it, the power, it's right there, just beyond your touch. It's being held back from you. Without any other thoughts, the figure pays you no mind. It studies your wife, lifting her by the throat, twists its head to one side, then to the other. From where you are, you can see its mouth become a bit of a sneer, and the hand squeezes. Her legs begin to flail. There's a crack, and she falls completely limp, and it drops her. Your son is cowering in the corner. With one simple movement, it leans down, grabs him by the throat, lifting him, just like you did your wife, and it looks at him. You're still trying desperately to claw into any sense of power. You're completely pinned to the floor, you can't move. You feel helpless and you start to beg. You beg the creatures to stop. You beg to give it anything. You beg to your gods. and nothing happens. You're crying. And you watch as it twists its head to the side. And it starts to smile. The mouth is full of sharp razor teeth. You beg for help, for power. You beg for anything that can help you here. I can help you. You don't hesitate, even for a second. You accept its help. The magic that you couldn't feel, that was just beyond your grasp, suddenly floods into you. More than you have ever felt before. You feel like you're going to explode. You feel burning all inside you. You raise your hand. The figure's head turns, its eye looking down at you. And everything goes white. And the memory ends. Plenty boy, how could you forget that day? You accepted part of my power. You nearly killed yourself. It was days before you even regained consciousness, if I recall. But you could save her right now. You see a hand reach past and touch your arm. The arm that reaches past is pure black. It seems to have a wispiness to the edges of it. Kind of like fire, in a way. Where it touches burns. Don't disappoint me, Flint.
What
Your
do I
arm
do?
starts to rise. You can't stop it. You still can't move otherwise. Time all around you is completely still. Your hand is pointed straight at the crowd. Well, the head of the crowd, to where the child is, the two holding her, Velen and Barrion. You feel your arm start to burn. You can feel power inside it. It's coursing from your shoulder to your fingertips. You feel it starting to build and build. Do you let it go, or do you try and hold it?
I will try and hold it back because I don't want what happened to my family to happen to the people that are with me.
Okay.
Not again.
You feel your fingertips starting to burn. And take 1d6 fire damage. Okay. Time suddenly snaps back to reality. You're still stood there with your arm raised. You can still feel the energy coursing through you. But both Simeon, Finion, and Nagrax are now aware that you suddenly just moved without them seeing you move.
Nagrax is visibly shocked, but is being quite disciplined in not saying anything.
Having just rediscovered this memory, I'll probably be quite pale and a bit shook up.
I think Nagrax will probably reach over to and kind of just gently press it down and just shake his head.
Does Simeon have any reaction?
From here, like maybe I would have seen that, but
I mean, you're stood by the door,
You're
aren't you?
focusing elsewhere. Okay.
I'm too focused on watching this entranceway.
Okay. Byron raises the knife and he grips the child's hair. And he slices the knife across her throat.
I look away at this point.
Yeah, I would probably say that Nagrax would close his eyes at that specific moment.
Hmm. I know what just happened. I can't see over the balcony from here, but I heard that.
Yeah, I'm guessing for dramatic effect, sort of like it was audible.
She falls to her knees and then collapses onto the floor. The crowd starts to clap.
Are they clapping enthusiastically, or is it kind of more, I'm clapping because that guy's clapping?
It's a bit of both.
Yeah, it's kind of
Some of
mixed.
the crowd are enthusiastic, some of them...
So it's kind of like a mixed response. It's not like
Yeah.
they're not unanimously fervently cheering. It's kind of like there's a few more devout people kind of being enthusiastic and the others just going along with it.
Yes. You've generally gotten from the crowd that they are all devout to a point, but some of them are clearly much more.
Probably initiates like Baron.
Valen puts his hand onto the Baron's shoulder. Well done, brother. I'll pause before I carry on, so he doesn't miss too much.
By the way, Doom, I just was trying to tell you in chat, the music is a little bit quiet.
It was kind of meant to be.
Yeah, I didn't know whether you kind of wanted that to be a bit louder or not, I wasn't sure.
I'll keep that track playing because I like it.
I can
Maybe
understand
back to
why.
the jovial ones.
I understand why you wanted that track for that sequence.
Yeah, we don't want Jonesy music during all that.
Alright, see
Very chilling story. I actually need to warm myself up with a jumper or something.
But, I mean, it was a burning sensation. You should be on fire right now.
Valen reaches the body and picked it up. He moves over to the well by placing the sensor here. We commit another one to your care. And he drops the body.
That motherfucker.
Everyone, thank you for attending today. It won't be long before the true work begins. Or we're going elsewhere.
So my audio's jumping quite a bit.
Yeah, I think you're a bit choppy there, Pete.
I thought it was maybe on my end because
Same.
it's like all of you.
What did you
for me.
hear?
Pretty much nothing. God,
Okay.
it's really weird.
Did you get the part where Velen dropped the body?
Yes.
Yeah, we got that.
Okay.
Back.
I heard up to that part, yeah.
Yeah, my connection just dipping down the red briefly. Can you still hear me fine?
It is a bit choppy, truth be told.
Give it a moment to see if it'll settle.
Yeah.
If only we all lived closer.
I mean, how much?
In real life? Or...
I mean, how much closer can me and Doom be other than living in the same house?
Do you really want an answer to that?
I don't really, to be honest. I shudder to think of what that'd be like.
Yeah.
It would be the basis for probably one of the most successful sitcoms in modern history. But yeah, actually being a participant in that might be interesting to say the least. I mean, to be fair to him, you'd probably find it quite boring living with me.
Yeah.
Just kind of like I'm just there reading a book. You go off gallivanting.
Some woman in his bedroom. Little
Awesome.
necktie over handle.
Yeah.
Alright, so I might have settled down for a little bit now.
Yeah, it does seem like go on, continue.
Alright, gotta find my place again now.
Velen dropped the body is where we head up to.
He looks to Baryon. Soon, great works will start.
It's gone quite choppy on me again.
Sorry, just for fuck's sake.
Is it just your connection, Doom?
Just give me my.
I can hear you fine.
Yeah.
I could reset my thing. Because I've been doing this a little bit recently.
Does that mean we get to use Bug's technical difficulty screen?
I still haven't actually made that into a card. I really should.
Damn it.
Complete with the Mexican like mariachi music.
No, I've not got that. I'll have to. Yeah, note to me. I need to find some knockoff mariachi music and actually make the technical difficulties a screen on my stream. But yeah, I've not done that yet. I've been too busy.
I'll be
sort
back
of-
in a minute. I'm going to reset something.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, for anyone watching, yeah, this is technically technical difficulties, but yeah, let's just try and continue.
Okay. So, body's gone down the well. Velen turns to the crowd. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. Until the doors, the great works will soon begin. And with that, people begin to leave.
I would probably recommend that we wait for the majority of people to leave before we move from this position.
I just sit down on this bench, like head in hands.
The power that you felt coursing through you has faded. But there's something that still remains behind. You've now got a custom ability.
Okay.
You can take 1d8 damage to cast a spell of a appropriate spell slot. It's a d8 per spell slot.
Right.
At its base level. So for instance, if you want to cast a fireball, you take 3d8 of damage.
Right.
Make a little note of it.
Damn.
Is this every time I cast a spell?
Just if you want to do using this feature.
Where would I add this?
Just in your notes.
Right, so what am I putting in?
Can take 1d8 of spell, 1d8 of damage per spell slot to use a spell instead of using a spell slot.
All right.
I mean, under a few circumstances, that could be very powerful.
Okay then.
Okay. The congregation has steadily filed out, and Velen has left through this door over here.
Sorry, I didn't see that. Which door do?
This door here.
Ah, okay. Was that the same door that the Tiefling girl was brought out of?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I would be probably like, silently sobbing to myself at this point.
Are the cameras still messed up on the screen?
They will be because Doom closed the stream screen.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not watching the stream, like the cameras are positioned differently, I could.
Yeah, they were working a minute ago.
Well, I mean, it's because he stopped streaming.
Yeah, they were working without me streaming.
Yeah, I think if I go into this.
But it should be fine now. Just start streaming it again.
Yeah. Yeah, they only work if like it's this specific configuration. Otherwise, I'd have to adjust the cameras, and I don't think it's worth it just for this session.
Right. So, on to you guys. Shine.
So as I said, Nagrax will just kind of like watch over the top, and he'll just kind of like wait until most of like most, if not everyone, is left, and he'll just kind of gesture to Simeon to kind of like move from the door. You know, basically saying coast is clear, sort of deal.
What's happening?
Congregation seems to have left. We can probably leave now. I don't want to spend another moment in this place.
No, nor do I. I heard the blade. Nasty business.
I couldn't bring myself to see. That poor child.
Could have stopped it.
Upon hearing that, I go over to Flint. Flint, I noticed you raised your arm. What were you doing?
It's like looking at him, but not really looking at him. It's like I could have stopped it.
I kind of like grab both of Flint's shoulders and just say, Flint, you couldn't have done anything about it more so than any of us could. I want to save as many people as I possibly can. It's why I couldn't bring myself to stand idly by while that warlock and imp were being paraded around by that mob, but there were too many of them, Flint. But I'm glad you thought better of it. If you'd attacked, you could have probably put all of our lives in jeopardy. We probably wouldn't have been able to come back and fight these monsters another day.
Are there any like visible burns on my arm from when I took that damage?
There are some minor burns on your arm where the hand touched it, which is
Uh,
about halfway between the elbow and wrist.
Could I roll to see if Nigrex notices that?
It's not burnt away any clothing though, so if you have something with sleeves, it wouldn't be visible.
Okay, so Nigrex have no way of knowing that. Okay, fair enough. But I kind of like noticed that Flint's very distressed, and I'll just say, Flint, I couldn't bring myself to watch that. There's nothing any of us could have done. We need to just leave this place and we'll figure something out. We'll report it back to the guild, whomever we need to. We will put a stop to this, but we have to think carefully. We can't just act impulsively, otherwise, well, our lives may also be forfeit.
Yes, you're right.
Finion, where did you go?
Finion's impatient. He wants to GTFO just as much as we do.
Finion walks down the center aisle.
I follow Finion, seeing him do this, but mainly just saying, Finion, there isn't anything else for us here. Please, let's just leave.
He looks down at the blood stain.
He looks down at the what, sorry?
The blood stain that's been left over when the the child's throat was cut.
Does he say anything, or is he just looking at the
He
bloodstain?
just moves over to the well and looks down and frowns. I can't see it.
See what, Finion?
Where is she?
Nigrex will also look over the side of the well. In fact, I think Nigrex said we both have dark vision, don't we?
Yes.
So even with dark vision, neither of us can see down the well.
You look down the well, and you can see the bottom of it. It seems to just end after about, let's say, 30 foot. There's nothing down there.
Yeah, Nigrex will just look down the well, see this, and just goes, "Yes, you're right, Finian, but how can that be possible? We didn't see the moment but we saw her being thrown down here, all of us, but there's clearly nothing here. There is some foul magic at play here, I feel."
Finian will rustle into his backpack and he'll pull out one of his darts. He'll hold it over the well and drop it.
Okay, I watched the dart as it falls down.
The dart falls, and as it reaches the bottom, it disappears.
Hmm.
It's almost as if it's a portal, disguised as a well. I can't really think of enough explanation. Doom, can Nigrax roll religion to see whether there's any rituals that he knows of that could create an anomaly like this?
Go ahead, roll religion.
Because this is a bit odd to say the least. Oh, it's because it's on the screen. Sorry, 1 sec.
You don't know of anything religious that could cause this, but there is something magical about it.
There's no ritual that I know of that could cause anything like this, but there does seem to be a tinge of magic. With that, I'll go over and I will basically relay this information to Flint and ask him to see if he can figure out what might be at play here.
Okay, then I shall peer in the well and see if I can figure out what's going on.
I'll let you roll Arcana with advantage, given you've been pointed towards it.
Huh.
That is a lie. I got 20.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You fall into the
It
well,
wasn't
apparently.
It wasn't a nat 20, but I got 20.
Huh. Right, well, okay. As you look down into the well, you can kind of see the threads of magic. It seems to be some sort of teleportation spell.
Looks like some sort of teleportation spell.
It's as we suspected, the well is just ceremonial, but nothing actually lies at the bottom of it. Whatever's pushed down there is taken elsewhere, it seems, but to where I'm not sure.
I do have an idea, but it's not something I'd
Yeah.
like to try out while we're here.
Um,
I'd like to get someplace safe.
yeah, Nigrex stuttered because he did just realise something. Flint, Finion, do you remember when I was telling you about what I saw at the Shrine of Yardren? I saw a vision of a monolithic structure where, like, Lyra, the goddess of joy, appears to be being held. I recall that she disappeared at some point. I feel like I'm grasping at straws here, but I don't know. I can't help but think that the goddess of peace and her sister deities, but the former just disappeared one day. I mean, it's a complete shot in the dark, but of all the places I could think of these bodies are being held, maybe they could be being teleported there. I mean, it's a complete speculation on my part, but I can't really think of anything else right now.
We should go down.
Did
We should see what it is.
Is this Finion saying it?
Yes.
Maybe it's related to the place I was taken to when I touched the dagger. I know I didn't physically
Perhaps.
go there, but my mind certainly entered it.
Yeah. Nagrax considers Finion's words for a moment, and then he thinks how guilty he feels about seeing a 6-year-old child literally be killed in front of him. And he takes a deep intake of breath, and he clasps Finion's shoulder and just goes, "Yes, I agree, Finion. I think we owe it to that girl to find out what became of her." With that, I will go and inform Simeon about what we've found and what we plan to do, just so he doesn't turn around and see us that we've gone.
I was
Mhm.
just, I didn't want to interrupt. I just wanted to see if the door was still barred or anything.
Have
I
they
know.
opened it?
It's
Right.
open
I mean, they unsealed the doors.
back to how it
didn't they?
was. Yes.
Can I, like, crack the door a little bit, see if there's anyone immediately outside?
I'll show you. Crack the door open a little bit. Roll perception.
Oof.
All right.
Right
Catch
outside.
yourself in reflection.
Right outside. Person inside.
Oh. Oh, darker in here than I thought. Oh, Nargrax. What is it?
We found something odd with the well that the child was thrown down. It appears to have nothing lies at the bottom, but there appears to be some sort of teleportation spell on it. Finion suggested that we investigate.
Are you mad? In this place?
I'm tired of seeing innocent people die, Simeon.
As am I. As am I.
We have no means of fighting this cult as it stands right now. I know we could go back to the guild, tell Cerner, tell the guild master, tell the mayor, but you saw how many of them there were, Simeon. There are more hearts and minds being won over to this cause every day. We don't know what we're fighting against, and, well, usually I'm the one advising against such things, but seeing that young girl being killed before our eyes and not being able to do a thing, well, I can't watch it anymore, Simeon.
Can I tell if the portal is one way or no?
The last thing I heard was Zach asking if he could tell if it was
Yeah, that was
one
pretty.
way, and they started to answer.
Oh, that was
I
pretty
don't-
much the last thing we said, I
Yeah.
think. So it was just basically asking if the portal was one way, I think, wasn't it?
And I tried to say, you get the feeling that it is two-way.
It's two-way. Okay.
Get the feeling it doesn't mean it actually is.
Well, I mean, we don't know that yet. I'm talking
Yeah.
to Simeon over here, so.
Right.
So I suppose me and Simeon are still having this conversation over here.
Do you want to continue on?
Yeah, I mean, you heard what Nagrag said. He was just basically sort of saying, I can't take it anymore, and he effectively just doesn't think that there's anyone in authority who either cares enough or is, courageous enough to really crack down on the problem, and that we're probably going to have to intercede ourselves.
I'm going to break out into a broad smile and put one hand on your shoulder. Your words have moved me. You're right. Of course, you're right. What kind of hero does not jump into the unknown to save the innocent?
Can
You're
we
right.
Fishing?
I have no guarantees that this is going to end well for us, Simeon, but I don't see another way. We have to do something after tonight. It can't continue like this.
Where's your positive attitude? Fortune favors the bold, does it not? And
Yes.
I'm just gonna walk on, power walk down the aisle.
And as you walk off, Nagrax will just say to himself, "Yes, I suppose it does." And he will follow behind Simeon.
Okay.
So
You all
see-
join as well.
Yeah, so I join Flint back at the well. I suppose I might just ask out of curiosity. Have you discerned anything else about the well whilst we've been away?
I think it might be two ways, so we should be able to get back, but there's no telling what's on the other side.
So, how does this thing work? We just jump in?
Finion dropped a dart down the well and it literally just seemed to disappear on contact. I would probably recommend Nagrax will rifle through his bag at this point to look some Doom. How deep did you say the well was?
About 30 foot.
It's about 30 foot. Nagrax goes through his bag and he pulls out his 9-meter rope because, yeah, he only had 9 meters. And he kind of realized this is only 9 meters, and he said, I was going to recommend that we perhaps use ropes to go down the well. We don't know, like, whether when we go down the well we're going to be free falling through the air, or if we will just kind of touch down on the ground. We probably want to be moving as slow as possible as to minimize any damage from potential impacts. Does anybody have any rope that's about 30 meters in length?
I
Yeah,
don't
Finion.
believe I've used any of mine. And I
I'm just
started with
noticing.
50 feet.
Nigrex
Oh,
is basically just
So we can...
just asking if one of us could kind of use the rope and then maybe tie it to something.
Yeah, I've got 50 feet of rope. I'll use mine.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can
There are
tie the...
benches battered around.
Are the benches kind of fixed to the ground, or
They're not fixed to the ground, but they are pretty heavy.
they're heavy enough that they could probably take the weight of each? Though then again, we're probably quite heavy in our armor, aren't we? How about the stand?
No, so the door is still open there. Stopping that guy like undoing the rope.
I don't suppose there are any guarantees, Flint, but we probably would want to move quickly.
The stand is about the same as well.
Is there
Okay.
anything about the well that I can fix a rope to?
No, it's essentially just a built-up bit of stone. There's nothing over the top of it.
Simeon, don't you have some pitons?
I do. Can I hammer one on the inside of the well and loop the rope around that?
Oh yeah, do a strength check, beat for free.
That one.
Yeah, come on, that one. Tell me what you get.
Well, I
that
literally
way.
have a +4, so I can't fail it.
You got
That's
a
fair
10.
enough.
Unless I got that one. I got 10.
Okay, okay. Yeah, you hammer it in, and you drop the rope.
Yep.
Right, attached.
Whoever's last, pull the rope, get the piton out. We don't want them coming back to find the rope in here. We're quite suspicious.
Nigrex will volunteer to go first.
Okay. You know what? For everyone that climbs down, do an acrobatics check.
Okay, what's the DC on this?
He's not going to tell
He's
us.
not going to tell us, bastard. Okay.
You'll find out if you hit the floor.
Nigrex got an 18.
You managed to shimmy down the rope just fine.
Doom, do you
and
know
disappear
do you know
through
the
bottom.
do you know the rope? Does it kind of like cut off at the bottom, or is the excess rope kind of coiled on the floor?
Disappears at the bottom, and as you move down, it sways back and forth, appearing and disappearing a little bit.
I see. Okay. So, okay, I've gone in.
Okay. Who else goes next?
I'll stay till last.
Well, Finion will go down. I can't roll for him, so he makes it. Flint, you roll. Acrobatics.
Flynn got a 5.
Okay. You start to shimmy down. You keep slipping and burning your hand slightly. Take a
Ooh.
D4.
Sorry, what was that?
Take a D4. You're burning your hands as you go down.
He's just getting burned left and right today.
Hmm,
It's not a good day for Flynn.
no.
Okay.
How's Simeon?
5 damage. We've not even had any combat.
I got a 15.
Okay. You're able to start shimmying down just fine. How are you going to get the piton out?
Can I yank the rope down if it's like looped around?
The piton's kind of put in place so that it wouldn't be able to pull out from that kind of way. Or that kind of motion, would it? That's kind of the entire point of putting it in.
I mean, how often do they actually look down the well if this portal goes somewhere?
I'm guessing what we could do is maybe because, I mean, we don't know what's on the other side yet, I suppose. If Simeon were to, I don't know, throw something to cut the rope as he went down, like, we would probably have to trust us to catch him or at least find something to break his fall. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like,
You know
We
what?
wanna-
You know what? Fuck, I'm gonna do that. I'm climbing down, I'll try and pull the piton free.
1 second. Come on, Discord reconnect. My connection's finally come back on my PC.
Yeah.
I was on the data page.
really not having a good night there, are you?
No, I'm not.
No.
Come on,
It-
Discord, you can do it.
It was
I
bound to
believe in
happen
you.
at some point, mind you.
I hate my internet. Always have, always will.
It's not as bad as it used to be doing now. Let's
Not-
be. It's not like I'm getting a phone call. Disconnects.
You're gonna try and straight pull it out. Roll your strength.
17 you got.
Okay. You brace against the wall and you pull with everything you've got. More and more. You pull. Ding! It suddenly comes free and you free fall.
How like wide is the well? Could I sort of like put my arms out on each side to slow the fall?
Make a dex save.
This seems like Wile E. Coyote shit right now.
I'm thinking more Gamma
Eight,
Buntus.
no, 19. That was an 18. It changed to a 19 as I was looking at it. What the fuck?
Don't complain. I have the
You
cards.
suddenly spread out arms and you kind of brace yourself
Wow.
and arm pull completely.
I really
Your
can't.
legs have disappeared. You can't hear me at all.
I just
can
heard
now.
legs disappeared.
Yeah, that's where you popped back in. His legs disappeared.
Okay.
He's
You
now
suddenly
paraplegic.
free
now.
fall. You put your arms out against the side and you stop with your elbows. Legs have disappeared and you can kick them out further than you feel like you should be able to.
Oh, this is not the way to be doing it. Catch me.
Can we hear him, Doom?
No.
I had to ask.
Twinkling down
Have,
from.
have I got enough of a grip that I can shimmy down, or am I just sliding?
You can try to.
It's kind of like Doom speaking a secret language he's not told us about.
Yeah. He's speaking in thieves' camp right now. Except none of us are rogues.
You can athletics.
Yeah, there we go.
Athletics. It's a 12.
You try and shimmy down slowly, but suddenly you lose your grip and you fall.
Oh, watch out below!
Doom, in the time between me climbing down and Simeon, have I reached the bottom?
Yes, you all have. I shall now drag you over to the page.
So, Doom, roughly how far down did I come through this portal?
After you went through the bottom of the well, you fell for about. That's
He just fell and fell and fell.
Didn't catch the distance.
then was flailing around.
I just heard flailing around. I
heard
didn't hear.
that.
I didn't hear
God
anything
damn it.
else.
Fucking hate this.
I know it's annoying as heck. So how far did we travel?
You went about an additional 15 to 20 foot after you went through the portal.
Okay. So we
You saw
see.
each person come through, and then you eventually saw Simeon's legs just flailing around.
Okay.
Well, that's something you don't see every day.
Nargrex looks up, kind of like his one eyebrow kind of raises when he sees us, and then I assume shortly after we just see Simeon careening down.
Correct. You suddenly
Right.
see him fall, and then he comes down sideways and lands with a thud.
Oh, okay.
Takes 1 damage.
It takes one down. Okay,
one.
that could have been a lot worse.
Really hoping one of you would have just jumped down the well.
I'll take one. I've got to be honest. I was thinking about it.
Hey, I was
I was just gonna be like, see you on the other side, salute, jump down.
I was trying to be smart about it.
He takes
Well,
1
at
damage falling down
least-
the well.
at
I take
least-
3 damage trying to use the rope. How does that
Yeah.
work?
Friction.
Rob burn hurts, man. No.
I mean, it's like I got a paper cut, take 5 damage.
Hey, those things hurt.
Roll
No, that's
Constitution.
why I said
Now
5
inflicted.
damage.
I'll get up, dust myself off. Oh, I got the piton out. Oh, covered our escape down here. What is this place?
Doom, upon getting this rubble that you've put here, are these the bodies?
No, it's just a series of rocks.
So it's just a series of rocks, and we don't see the little girl's body here still.
Correct.
I would have
should
actually. Do we
look-
see Finion's dart?
Maybe.
Not sure if he answered or if he's. Oh, I can't tell if he's pausing for dramatic effects again. I'm so confused.
Have to assume he dropped again.
He's probably dropped
Unfortunately.
again. This is really unfortunate. I'm so glad that he managed to get through his epic speech before this happened.
Ah,
Yeah.
fuck's sake.
Yeah.
What did you say last?
I was asking, is Finion's dart here?
Yes, it is. It's down amongst the rubble.
So I just pointed out. It would appear that this is where everything went, considering the Finion's dart is here, but the girl, curiously, isn't. So I can only assume that maybe she was carried away. And, well, now we have no notion as to where we are.
You think there's others on this side waiting?
Well, the body isn't here, Simeon. How did it
Um,
move?
Looking around, do I recognise this as the place I went to when I touched the dagger previously?
No, it is not. The place that you went to for that was a desolate landscape. This is an enclosed area. It is dark. As you look around, the braziers on the wall giving off light, but the light seems muted almost, as if the darkness is absorbing it somehow.
Doom, this is
As you
good-
talk
also
to one another, everything sounds off. The best way to put it is everything sounds a little bit muted. As you
Is-
move and take footsteps, it doesn't make as loud as it sounds as it should. As you speak, you can't hear yourselves as well as you normally would.
So
Can
it's-
I use control flame to see if I can make one of the torches brighter?
Oh yeah. Use control flame. You make it brighter, but it doesn't give us as much light as it should.
This place is strange.
We're going to end off the session here.
Yeah, I think this is a good point to end,
Expected as much.
especially considering that this is a good point dramatically to end, but I think, yeah, your connection really can't hold out.
Yeah, my connection just continuously keeps dropping, just
Yeah.
completely.
I mean, I was saying to the others, it's such a good job that you got through your balanced speech before this, because that would have really sucked otherwise.
Yeah.
I had a feeling you were looking forward to that.
Yeah, that was pretty
Not
good.
so much that, more the bit that followed it.
No,
Oh, that
I
part. yeah.
enjoyed the fling with flame.
I mean, it's all the same sequence, so I would kind of consider that to be the same. But yeah, so a shorter session tonight. Hopefully, we'll kind of do a regular length one next week. It kind of just depends on where we're all at. But I think it was a good session. I mean, obviously, we had technical difficulties, but I think with what we got through, it was really good. So the cameras are still messed up. I think what I'll have to do is I'm going to have to make a screen specifically for when we've kind of just got the 4 frames, just so I can kind of still show the camera, but we'll just have to bear with it since we're just ending off. So, Doom, would you like to say anything?
Well, feel free to join me on Twitch, where my connection is not an absolute pile of dog shite.
Most of the time.
Yeah, it is most of the time, I know. Playing a lot of Hearthstone lately. We're getting back into it. I've been enjoying it quite a lot.
Yeah,
Awesome.
had some pretty good games on there. But yeah, let's just move on to me. This is me and my face. This you can see my you can see my socials on the side of the screen, and I'll actually put my socials in chat. Look at that, it's beautiful.
I'm still not see your face.
What was that? So you're still not convinced it's my face? So
Yeah.
no one's convinced that it's my face. Doom, is this my face?
Nope.
Fuck you, Doom.
It's a face.
Okay, and moving on to Zach. You actually have streamed a couple of things over the last few days. You streamed like a tower defense game the other day, and I think you're going to be just started a blind playthrough of Oblivion, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's correct. Join me in the adventures of the High Elf, ForeverTheElf. As
Creative
you
name.
journey through
What? What? Well, I
You're my
won't be
inspiration.
tuning in.
You're my inspiration.
So speaking of tuning in, what a beautiful segue that was. Here is Elf. So you're streaming mostly Skyrim at the moment, but you started the ridiculous anime nonsense that is Phoenix Wright last night.
Yes, I did. We did the first case in the first game of the series, and it was nonsense. All right, I'm looking forward to playing it more.
I think really
Definitely.
Phoenix Wright, a lot of the fun is just counting. Okay, so how many times would this just be declared a mistrial?
Yeah.
Just off the bat. I mean, there's a couple of moments that I wanted to get to, like where it's sort of like I can't even say it because it's like it would ruin it, and it's just so ridiculous. You probably wouldn't believe me.
I enjoy watching it that much. I got it on Steam.
Yeah.
Look at that. Awesome.
Yeah, I got it on iOS a
Mm.
long time ago. My piano teacher of all people told me about Phoenix Wright. So
All right.
yeah,
That's a way to come
that's
across
definitely
it.
a way to come across the game. But anyway, I feel like we're probably digressing a little bit, so we're going to end off the stream there. So for anyone who is actually here through all the technical difficulties, thank you for persevering, and we shall speak to you all next time, where hopefully we won't have technical difficulties and have maybe a longer session for you. But until then, it's good night from all of us, and we will see you next time.
See you next
Sure.
time. Next one will be a good one.